Yeah.
I've been reading, but I'm not reading. Like I have an app that reads it for me. Book of Brown Skin, White Minds. Like I gave myself like Veronica, get ready your heart, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it will be a lot. And it was a
Yeah.
lot. When I was reading it, I keep on closing the book because I didn't want to read it. But I think I told myself I think I'm in the right headspace to read it or listen to it.
So you
So
started
I
it.
started it. I'm on chapter 4
Okay.
now, and they what is happening right now with Palestine, with other indigenous communities, and North America being a European colonial state. And then I recently also watched a documentary of Gaspésie, right? And where like Jacques Cartier has first landed. And I really like the mere fact that the documentary did shed a light at the fact that Jacques Cartier came in here, has noticed there was already like les autochtones, and completely disregard their existence and then say, maintenant, c'est une nouvelle France, right? And
That was in the book?
no, that's just me putting a connection together of colonial states, like European colonial states taking over
Mm-hmm.
indigenous lands as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Spain did that in the Philippines, literally, because our name
Yes.
is still attached to Spain. I think it's horrifying for people to not realize that our beloved home country is the name is pretty much connected to our colonizers, and we just accepted it
Yeah.
as such, right? And the way that we were portrayed by not only Spain but US, we
Yeah.
are brought to the States to be seen like animals, like
In
look, we
zoos.
put in zoos. That's how much they
Mm.
have dehumanized us. Like we were limited to as zoos to look at, like we're a bunch of like, well, actually, yeah, as animals, right? And I think
Yeah.
the thing that enrages me the most is that they said that we're uncivilized. And so how are we uncivilized when we see a random walking metal coming off the shore in Cebu or in the Visayas Islands? And the first thing that we did was, the fuck are you? You look like you need to eat. Here's some lechon.
Oh, they tried to feed.
Like,
Oh.
obviously, like I'm very much simplifying it, right? There were like fights, and there were deadly fights, and it's like it took Spain pretty much almost 100 years to actually claim the Philippines. So even the history that we know today is not accurate, because yes, Magellan landed in the islands of the Philippines, of the islands of Visayas, but it took them another almost 100 years to actually quote unquote take over of our islands. And even then they have not
Oh my
taken over
God.
our islands, because we still have resistance in the islands, in Mindanao and like the northern
Yeah.
part of the Philippines. I mean, Kaluya, listen, you don't have a Spanish name.
Wow. So 100 years of bloodshed, but like we're fighting back and they're not winning.
We're resisting. Sorry, I don't know how to start this
Yeah.
conversation.
That's okay. This is where we
This
started. Welcome everybody to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Welcome everybody to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. This is where we have conversations, and like sometimes we don't know where to start, and you just get plopped into a conversation that we're having about the world. And if you have any comments, comment them on CKUT or on Instagram. Uh yeah, at Radyo
Yeah,
Kapwa.
and stay tuned actually, because we're going to continue this conversation right after this break.
Welcome back, everybody, to Radio Kapwa and CKUT 90.3 FM. You are listening to Desiree, Veronica, and Laura. And we are just having a casual conversation on decolonization. How can you even have a casual conversation about this?
Yeah, it's pretty casual. We'll make it casual. Yeah.
Well, that's what's beautiful about us. It's like I forget how Filipinos are outside of Sant Kapwa, like because it's what's real, where we like respect each other's boundaries and talk to each other. But like, I'm not used to that. I'm used to getting judged. I'm used to like being stared at.
Not here, not
Not here.
here.
Not here. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir.
I wanted to add to Vero. You were talking earlier about like how when Spain came on the islands, Lapu-Lapu came to the Visayan Islands, where my roots are from, and he died in the Visayan Islands, and it took almost 100 years for Spain to claim the islands. So it wasn't like a hey, we have arrived, give it to us. Our people fought. Right. And going back to this piece that when they came, they called us uncivilized. Like I was having a conversation with my daughter's father, who is not Filipino. He is actually from France. And it's just so interesting. So just think about this. Like, just think about this. So I reset, like it's been what my decolonization journey now has been maybe 6 years. And when I explain, people are always curious because I used to share more about it. I wrote about it in different outlets. And how I like to explain my decolonization journey is I say that I feel like for over 3 decades, I was given 10 chapters to a 100 chapter book. Right. And during the pandemic, when everybody was diving into Black history and everyone had more time and they were on their devices, I was diving into Black history as well. But I remember thinking, what about my history? Truth be told, I grew up around Filipinos. I grew up in the church, but I always felt like I always felt shamed in the church. I would go to the church and I felt community, I felt love, but I felt shamed. And I again didn't have the words to explain it. I would always look at indigenous cultures and I would love that they would bless the animals before, killing it to feed the family. And it was just so rooted in spirituality. But I remember thinking, no, that's not my culture. So all of these puzzle pieces that have been floating around for me. And then during the pandemic, that was when I saw the picture of the babaylan. The babaylan is the healer, the shaman, not woman, not feminine, not masculine, just this gender fluid, fierce, strong, powerful human and leader of society. And I remember I saw this picture, and the picture was calling to me. And I remember seeing hashtag pre-colonial Philippines. And I was like, huh? And I shit you not, I was 30, almost 40 at this time, and was living my life basically believing to a certain degree that life only happened for my ancestors the minute Spain stepped foot on the islands. Right. And so those are facts. Those are part of history. But whenever I explain my decolonization journey, I explain that I never really fully felt connected to that, the church. And when Spain arrived, I started to get curious about the day, week, month, year, 100 years, 1,000 years before they came. And that's when I started to root and ground in myself, in my spirit, in my body, in my culture. And it brought me back to the culture because it wasn't about the church. It was spirituality. It was all about nature, which was all about everything that I love. So going back to the civilization piece, Vero, because I was having a conversation with her father, because I had recently gone to a retreat in Brazil, in the jungle, where you're barefoot. It was led by Brazilians, leaders and guardians of the land, like locals from the land. It was very important for me to do that. And he cracked a joke like, "Oh, tu fais quoi dans le jungle?" You know what I mean? Like he laughed, or I think he had said, "Oh, all of these people now are going to the jungle." And I said, yeah, all these white people who once upon a time their ancestor called all Black and brown people who were doing this before you came and imposed your ways of being on us. You called us civilized, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this now. You are all stress. You are all ungrounded. You are all disconnected from self and spirit, and now all going to the jungle where you once upon a time called us uncivilized. So, and then he just looked at me and he had nothing to say. But I was like, right? And go Vivo. I was like, my turn, my turn, my turn.
I think it's very enraging to be perfectly honest. Like I told myself, I told my loob to be ready while I quote unquote read, but also it's more of like it reads to me the book Brown Skin and White Minds by EJ sorry Davids, and again coming back to being savage, being labeled as savage, being labeled as uncivilized, that like um they're using those words when in reality we're filled with kindness and we're filled with compassion to the
Mm-hmm.
point where our spirituality is rooted in animism, right? That like
Mm-hmm.
don't walk on those like land or that soil because you know you
Mm-hmm.
need to pay your respect and you have to ask for your for permission. Like they
Yeah.
see this type of mentality of valuing and respecting the land, the sea, you know, the trees as something as savage, as
Yeah.
uncivilized. It goes to show how much detached they are in the land, and it
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it is obvious that you are detached to the islands of our homeland because t'es pas ici. Tu viens jamais ici. Of course, you will not defend the mountain. Of course, you're okay doing minings. It's not your land. You never have any connection to these lands. And so
Mm-hmm.
being like branding land defenders as terrorists because you're terrorizing the local community when in reality they are defending their ancestral lands. These are all narratives by people who never had any connection with their own land because your land has not
Mm-hmm.
provided for you, which is why it's an ego thing, right? We
Mm-hmm.
center ourselves in the nature, but European colonial imperialists are centering themselves, right? I sail the world and will get myself another land, and that I'll put the flag in it. Like it's a way
Mm-hmm.
to take
Like it's property.
take and
Own.
property and
Own.
own. Parce que toi là, chez toi, en France or in Portugal, t'as rien. Like in Spain, t'as rien. Because of the kingdoms, right? You're a mere subject, right? You belong to the king. Meanwhile, our ancestors, we belong to the land. The land provides for us, and therefore it is
Mm-hmm.
our responsibility to take care of our land. It is our
Yes.
responsibility to take care of our water. And this is a symbiotic relationship we have with the land. And I would like to use the example of kalikasan because the word ka in it means you are with the nature. So, coming back to being
Mm-hmm.
told we're savages and we're being told we're uncivilized, how is it that someone who cries because, you know, the trees, thousand years of trees are being like rasé, and you're being like, they're being so maarte, they're being so extra, right? The trees and the lands are the witnesses to our experiences, and a man, a white man, dared to take out our connection to our land. And it is very
Yeah.
enraging, and this is happening here in Canada, in BC
Yeah.
at the moment. They are taking all of those big trees, thousands of years of trees,
No.
for what? To create a house because of a housing crisis that they have created themselves. Sorry, that I just needed to let it out. I was listening to it earlier and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck this
Let it out.
shit.
Let it
Like,
out.
fuck you
Yeah.
all.
Well, and it's important to let it out because I'm gonna assume that not everybody is making the connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it also it has been happening here as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is happening all over the world. This disconnection to land and this again individualistic way
Yeah.
of being,
Take.
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
take reality that is not okay. And throughout this whole journey, my mom, who's super religious, she, always enforced the church on me. And then as I started it's been such a beautiful journey. And as I decolonized, she, I stopped going to church as much as she would really have liked me to go to church. And then we had a conversation, and I said, well, I don't feel connected to Catholicism anymore. And I'm happy that you do. And then she looked at me and she was like, well, what do you believe in then? You have to believe in something. And I looked at her and I said, I believe in nature, mom. And she looked at me And for once in my life, she didn't complain. She was like, okay. And I realized that those were her ancestors that were like, leave her alone. You know what I mean? She
Mhm.
gets it. She gets it. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
Catholicism in the Philippines is very different because, you know, if you don't convert yourself to Christianity, to Catholicism, they will kill you. You know, that's why
mhm.
crusaders, like the first armed forces, the organized armed forces, you know, in Europe are crusaders because they are armies of God, right? Which is quite hilarious because thought thou shall not kill. But anyway, don't quote me on that because I'm a failed Catholic girl. I went to a Catholic
Same.
school. But um, the Catholicism in the Philippines is different because it, just Catholicism is used like comme un véhicule pour véhiculer la façon como nous, like our spirituality is. A lot of our spirituality has used Catholicism in order for our spirituality to survive. They call it altar. We don't call it altar. We call it like anitos, and we call it our the duendes, right? We pray the same way, right? And we they call it God. We call it our nature. We call it the God of like ocean, the God of mountains, right? So in order for our
Mhm.
spirituality to survive, because if not, they will legit kill us, and they have been killing us, right? It needs to attach into the dominant way of living, and at that time, il nous a forcé de se convertir, you know, in Catholicism. And this is like a good way to also, I was talking about this to Mathilde earlier. Mathilde is Quebecois, and I said, there's just so much similarities between the Philippines and Quebec, like French Canadian, in terms of being Catholic, you know, and Nouvelle France
Mhm.
being like a colony, right, of France and
Yeah.
such. So there's so much ways for us to reconnect back to how it was back then and how our ancestors back then practiced spirituality without the arrival and without the influence of a European made, not even, but European led spiritual practice. And it's fine for people to hold on to Christianity, to feel like their life is going through something. But I completely and wholeheartedly reject the fact that this type of spirituality and like croyance beliefs are banking on actually has like for me it's a commodification of heaven that you can never ever like say that it's true or not, right? Like they have commodified heaven that if you do not go to church, you will not go to heaven. And I think and then they have
Mm,
monopolized that idea that they're the only one who has access to heaven. And for me, I wholeheartedly reject that. And that's fine, you know. I guess I'll see some other people in hell and it'll be fine. We'll do
Mhm.
line dancing together. It'll be fun, you know. And it's
I will be responsible for my soul. Thank you.
it's an idea. And I think for us as Filipinos, animists, pre-colonial, our
Mhm.
spirituality, our croyance, it's textured. You can touch it. You can touch the nature. You can touch the trees. You can touch the ocean, right? Heaven, it's all in your head. So again, like it's easy to manipulate our head and what we're thinking in our head because you don't see it. It's not physical. But us, our ancestors, yes, we have an altar to the big tree at the Balete tree because it's right there.
Mhm.
We know it protects us from the sun. We know the mango
Yeah.
trees protects us. We know the mango trees feeds us. We know the coconut tree helps us with water, right? To drink instead of drinking salt water because we're in tropical island. Like,
Coconut water.
you know,
Oh,
these
wow.
are all things that we need to ground and root ourselves in terms of
Yeah.
nature.
Nature is
Nature is
God.
God.
For me, nature is God. Nature provides, nature feeds us, nature nurtures. But we are also
yeah.
part of nature. So, in some way, I feel like we are all God. We are all part of God in the ways that we are rooted with each other. Did you know that trees, when one tree is losing nutrients, no matter what kind of tree it is, it'll send whatever nutrients that tree needs.
Mm-hmm.
Part of
Yep.
themselves. Yeah.
They're all connected, right?
Mm.
Yeah, through
Connected
the
with the
roots.
roots. We're
Mm.
all connected. Did you watch Fantastic Fungi on Netflix? Amazing documentary. It's mainly talking about mushrooms, but how mushrooms are the oldest living beings on this planet.
Wow.
Because it helps us see things differently. It helps us get
Yeah.
past all of these systems, all of these
Walls.
systems and walls that have been put. There's even this in one of my coaching programs, they were talking about, we were studying the Egyptians, the Egyptians and the Mayans, and they had created all of these wild things and, the intelligence and also the physical strength. Because if you look at like the height of certain things, in some pictures, they were really, really tall and clearly really strong to create the pyramids. And my teacher was saying, she goes, I actually believe like this is how we were meant to be, but something shifted, and there's the patriarchy and the masculine that came in that said, no, you stay in a box, right? Stay in a box. But when we are all expansive and when we all take up space and when we use this creativity and maybe magic mushroom, you know what I mean? Like when we all realize that we are connected and that nature is God, we can create and do really, really magnificent things. But
Yeah.
she had said, she goes, I'm convinced, again, there's that shift where we were put in boxes, where somebody wanted to take control, and we're more contracted now. She's like, but essentially, authentically, that's not our natural way of being. It's a whole other conversation for our next episode. But yeah, some last comments, reflections, voices of outrage, just on this topic. Like one comment on maybe decolonization or something that you didn't get a chance to say.
No comments, but I just wanted to reiterate what I put on my personal Instagram about ikaw, ako, tayo, kapwa, kalikasan, kalawakan. So you, me, us, kapwa, nature, and the universe. That's how it goes. And if you're curious about it, we'll probably post it on our Instagram at Radyo Kapwa, CKUT 90.3 FM. I hope that this very passionate conversations we've had of our reiterating our spirituality and our love for the nature resonates with you all. You don't need to be Filipino to be defender and gardien of our land and water. When we say land acknowledgement, we really meant land and water and defenders of land and water and the stewardess of
We all come from this
we all
land.
benefit from this land, and I think we all have our parts from this land. So yes,
We all become this land. When we die, we all become this land.
legit.
Well, how do you want to be treated when you become this land? Thank you guys for listening.
See
Thank
you
you all.
next week from 2 to 3
To be
p.m.
continued.
To be
Dun, dun, dun.
continued.
To be continued next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Laura's thoughts will be shared. Have an amazing week, everybody.
Mabuhay!
Mabuhay.
Bye.
Tumatakbo, pumapatak ang bawat oras. Bumibilis, lumalala ang karamdaman. Nasaan ka nung ika'y kailangan? Lumalabo, dumidilim aking isipan. Nakangiti habang pilit na lumalaban. Handa akong ika'y tulungan. Oh, itaas ang iyong kamay. Oh, na ika'y maiyakay ko. Oh, itaas ang iyong kamay na ika'y maiyakay. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. At malay mo, ako pala ang lulunas. Ako pala ang lunas mo. Nalilito, nagtatanong ano ang tama. Ikaw ang tanging siguradong may bahala na. Lumapit ka, aking tadhana. Oh, itaas ang iyong kamay. Oh, na ika'y maiyakay ko. Oh, itaas ang iyong kamay na ika'y maiyakay. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. At malay mo, ako pala ang lulunas. Nalilito, di mo ba alam, nandito lang ako para sa'yo kahit ano ang kailangan. Bumubugso, damdamin ko para sa'yo. Lahat ay tila handa nang makalimutan. Nalilito, hindi mo ba alam, nandito lang ako para sa'yo kahit ano ang kailangan mo. Bumubugso, damdamin ko para sa'yo. Lahat ay tila handa nang makalimutan. Nalilito, di mo ba alam, nandito lang ako para sa'yo kahit ano ang kailangan. Bumubugso, damdamin ko para sa'yo. Lahat ay tila handa nang makalimutan. Oh, itaas ang iyong kamay na ika'y maiyakay. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. Hayaan mo na akong humanap ng lulunas mo. At malay mo, ako pala ang lulunas. Ako pala ang lunas mo. Sala sa ini, sala sa lamin, ang iyong nararamdaman. Para sa akin Kailan mapapasakit? Natatangi kang bituin sa aking paningin. Kung ipag-ubay sa'kin ang iyong sarili ay dito ka lamang sa'king tabi. Hindi na muling lilisan, hindi ka pababayaan kung ika'y katabi. Aalisin mga unas ng dalamhati at hindi paluluhay sa aking tabi. Huwag mong sasabihin na di para sa'tin. Mahirap bang sambitin na sa ibang iyong damdamin? Huwag ka lang sana'y maalis at iyong tingin. At kung nais dito ka lamang sa'king tabi. At ating nang kalimutan mundo at ang kalungkutan kung ika'y katabi. Ikaw ay makakaranas ng kasiyahan, ngunit hindi ako ang iyong katabi. Whoa.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Marvin Reyes. I am a youth leader and community organizer here bringing you important news back home in the Philippines. The article is from BBC News with the title, "The Secret Hospitals Offering Criminals New Faces." Clandestine hospitals in the Philippines have been offering plastic surgery services to fugitives and scam center workers to help them evade arrest, authorities say. Two such illegal hospitals could be shut down in the coming weeks after police raided the first one in Manila's southern suburbs in May, a police spokesman told the BBC. Hair transplant tools, dental implants, and skin whitening IV drips were seized from the hospital in Pasay City 2 months ago. You can create an entirely new person out of those, said Winston John Casio, a spokesman for the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOCC. The two illegal hospitals under surveillance are believed to be 4 times longer than the one in Pasay City, authorities said. Their clients allegedly include those from online casinos who are working in the Philippines illegally, Mr. Casio said. The online casinos or POGOs, or the Philippine online gaming operations, cater to players in mainland China where gambling is illegal. But police say POGOs have been used as cover for criminal activities such as telephone scams and human trafficking. 3 doctors, 2 from Vietnam and 1 in China, a Chinese pharmacist, and a Vietnamese nurse who were arrested in Pasay raid, none of whom were licensed to work in the Philippines. Authorities also found a hemodialysis machine, suggesting that the facility, which was about 400 square meters, offered various medical treatments in addition to plastic surgery. They look like regular clinics on the outside, but once you enter, you'll be shocked by the type of technology they have, Mr. Casio said. These POGO hospitals didn't ask for the proper identification cards. You could be a fugitive and you could be an illegal alien in the Philippines, he said. Authorities were chipped off the existence of the illegal hospital in Pasay City. POGOs flourished under the former President Rodrigo Duterte, who saw friendly ties with China during the 6-year term that ended in 2022. However, his successor, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has mounted a crackdown on POGOs, citing their criminal links. The president does not want the Philippines to be painted as a scam hub and has given us a directive to go after scam farms because of how they have been targeting large numbers of people from all over the world, Mr. Casio said. In December 2022, immigration officials arrested a suspected Chinese mafia member who allegedly underwent plastic surgery to evade detection. Such cases may be linked to the underground hospitals, Mr. Casio said. The mayor of a sleepy town north of the capital, Alice Guo, recently came under fire after a POGO scam center was busted near her office. She has also been accused of being a spy for China after authorities questioned her birth records. The article was written by Kalinang and published on July 9, 2024. Thank you so much for listening. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Once again, this is John Marvin Reyes, delivering you Philippine news from abroad.
Sa dami ng aking naranasan, tila ba nalimot ng makaramdam? Palagi na lang tinatakasan ang pait na dulot ng nakaraan. Ngunit lahat ay nag-iba nang ika'y magkilala na at bumabalik sa umpisa at puno ng kaba. Puso ko ay umurong bigla o nalilito na sa aking nadarama. Hindi ko alam kung paano nangyari, di ko mawari ang nilalaman ng bigyan. Ilang ulit mang sabihing bawal, sa sigaw ng puso ay walang laban. Dahil lahat ay nag-iba, nang ika'y magkilala na at bumabalik sa umpisa, o nalilito na sa nadarama. Hindi ko alam kung paano nangyari, di ko mawari ang nilalaman ng puso. Tuwing nakikita ka'y may ligaya, laging ikaw ang siyang hinahanap, tanging ikaw ang nais magkasama dito. Sa aking pag-iisa, pilit ko mang bawiin, ako'y isang alipin ng pagsinta, hindi magmamaliw. Kahit na isang umaga, magising na lang sa katotohanan na ako't ikaw ay tinadhana. Kahit na walang pag-asa, di ako maghanap ng iba, sapagkat nakita na ang nais makapit at iibigin ng buot wagas, hindi man mamansin. Hindi ko alam kung paano nangyari, di ko mawari ang nilalaman ng puso. Tuwing nakikita ka'y may ligaya, laging ikaw ang siyang hinahanap, tanging ikaw ang nais magkasama dito. Sa aking pag-iisa, akong ako'y palarin, na ikaw ay maging akin, ang pagsintay hindi magmamaliw. Ang pagsintay hindi magmamaliw. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. What I'm about to say will take the kind of courage used to cut off from above. The kinds of things that you will hear will resemble a bottle of wine fermented too long. My mouth is dry, my head's in the sky, my stomach's starting to dance. Oh, before I die, I have to try, I have to take this chance. Oh, there's a risk that you'd go away, we'd lose the friendship we're enjoying right now. But there might also be regret if we throw away the more than friendship we'd be missing somehow. So I was thinking maybe later you would wanna go out. We could walk around the oval as usual, asking what life is about. Maybe I'd tell you that the couple years we spent together touched my life to the core. Maybe I'd tell you that I love you and I wanna love you more. Tell me how to get to you. Tell me what you want me to do. 'Cause if you're listening and thinking, is this song about me? Maybe. And though you are a work of art, I'm captivated by the things that you do. Though I'm jealous of the man who tried to win your heart, my goal is that he'd envy me too. So I was thinking maybe later you would wanna go out. We could walk and talk and travel, read and watch and figure out what life is about. I tell you that the couple years we spent together proved our friendship true. Maybe I tell you that I love you. Maybe it's time that you knew. I know for certain that I love you. And I know you love me too. I know you love me too. Yo, bienvenue à tous, c'est moi, Fanny Christo, et nous sommes le mercredi 17 juillet 2024 et vous écoutez à Radio Kapwa sur 90.3 FM CKUT. Aujourd'hui, on a parlé, how do you say it, the hiya or the shame that is often part of our experience growing up as Filipinx people and how it manifests into our everyday lives. Aussi, on a entendre Jean-Marvin Reyes avec les nouvelles et présentement, je vais présenter les annonces communautaires. We have a lot today, so make sure you have something to write with and write on, or you have your scheduling app open, and we're going to find out what's happening in our lovely city this month. And spoiler alert, a bit of next month too. First off, tomorrow, Thursday, July 18 at Shift Concordia. This is a free event with no registration required. You can head over to the Shift Center for a presentation from the Trans Patient Union, also known as the TPU. Presented by Shift and Cure Montreal, Jacob from the TPU will give a presentation on the benefits of their community integration approach and how other organizations can utilize this approach in their own work. In their interview process, the TPU goes to great lengths to integrate patients as members in the union's broader work rather than simply as research subjects. They've been successful at getting their community outreach directly involved in working on and leading projects, something that can be a challenge even in community work. Once again, this is a free event, and for more info, you can visit their Instagram pages at Trans Patients and Cure Montreal. That same day, Thursday, July 18 again, starting at 1 p.m., you can join the Femme de Mont Côte-Neige for a visit to the Museum of Montreal Memories. Departure from that center is at 1 p.m. Hurry as places are limited. To save your spot, you can visit their Instagram page at Femme de Mont CDN. Now, fast forward a few days from that, the next event, Sunday, July 21, 2024, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Park Martin Luther King. You can join the same group, Femme de Mont Côte-Neige, for their picnic at the park to discuss and understand the sexual education program in Quebec schools. For more info, you can visit their Instagram page, also again, at Femme de Mont CDN. That same day, this is more of a regular event, or a recurring event, but that day, July 21, and also July 22, 28, August 7, and 31 at Bassin Olympic Park Jean Drapeau. You can dive into summer with free rowing lessons with P10 Montreal and Montreal Rowing Club in partnership with Rowing Canada for an unforgettable experience this summer 2024. Perfect for the 2SL GBTQIA plus community aged 14 to 25. You can check out their Instagram pages at P10 Montreal to sign up and get more information about this recurring event. Now, Saturday, July 27, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Shift Concordia,
This event comes from us, the Radio Kapwa people, and our parent org, the Santa Kapwa. So we're calling all Filipino ex-zinesters for the Kagat Zine Fair, which is a gathering of Filipino ex-zinesters, makers, and artists to share their works and discover others who share the same passion for small-scale self-publishing. The fair is organized by us, Santa Kapwa, and our Ka Collective to celebrate the one-year anniversary of Kaartahan, the monthly Filipino X artist drop-in that we always do. It's free of charge for all participants, and you can go to our Instagram pages at Radio Kapwa or Santa Kapwa. You'll see the flyer there, you'll see the poster, and you'll also see the registration links. All of the info is there. That same day, Saturday, July 27, but from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Park Sun Yat-sen, which is in Chinatown, with the partnership between Sticky Rice Magazine, Montreal Pride, and the City of Montreal and the JIA Foundation. They present to you Peifang, a queer Chinatown festival for free. The term Peifang, and I'm sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, refers to the iconic gates that represent the entrance to Chinatown and serve as gateways between the neighborhood and the outside world. In the spirit of building bridges, this festival aims to connect queer communities and friends with Chinatown and build intergenerational relationships with its residents. During this full-day event, participants can take part in workshops on Tai Chi, traditional Chinese medicine, and pleasure and consent led by local educators. For the closing celebration, meet them at Sun Yat-sen Park for Mahjong, a drag and intergenerational show, live singing renditions of Chinese classics, and a lively DJ set. For more info about all of this and a quick summary, you can visit their Instagram pages at Sticky Rice Magazine and Gia Foundation MTL. The next day, that weekend, Sunday, July 28, Big Norm Alcancel from Toronto is coming to Montreal with summer laughs, slang jokes, and singing notes. To get your ticket, you can check out Norm's Instagram page at Big Norm Alcancel. The next event, same day, Sunday, July 28, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Cafe Kuya. June Unified and Cafe Kuya for Cars and Kuya will be welcoming all car and motorcycle makes and models. For more info on this event, you can visit their Instagram pages at unified_MTL and cafe.kuya. Now we dip it into August here, but at the Esplanade Tranquille for the 2024 edition of Fierté Montréal, Sticky Rice Magazine is proud to present In Between Us, a martial arts tribute, a series of performances on the Lotto Quebec official stage that honors the rich cultural heritage of diverse martial arts. Catch our Kapwa Joyrider MTL for her performance. This dynamic show stages moments of both tension and unity among partners, an unfolding story reminiscent of the respect, mutual empowerment, and of quiet confidence embodied in the art of combat. Launched in 2020, Sticky Rice Magazine explores the Asian Canadian diasporic experience, nurturing creative expression and fostering intercultural understanding. And then the next event is brought to you by the Black Community Resource Center. And this isn't exactly an event, but more kind of like a community call out. So once again, the Black Community Resource Center, the BCRC, and their research team, which is known as Black in Quebec, is proud to announce the launch of their recruitment drive for the ENGN project, a long-term project that aims to understand how mental health, intergenerational connection, and climate change all interplay and impact the English-speaking Black community in Montreal. If you identify as Black, Anglophone, over 16 years old, and you're living in the greater Montreal area, come share your thoughts with them on their Instagram page, which is BCRCMTL. Finally, Sunday, August 11, from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Collective MTL. This is presented by Native Montreal. You can get ready to celebrate Pride in style by joining them for a fabulous pre-parade Pride bunch. And you can find that info on their Instagram, which is Native Montreal, I think, or Collective MTL. And there you have it. Voila. J'espère que vous avez trouvé quelque chose que vous aimez. Et pour moi, I'll definitely be at the Zine Fest, so say what's up if you see me. Or don't, that's cool too. But yeah, this also signals the end of our show today, so before I sign up out of here, just remember, you've been listening to Radio Kapwa on 90.3 FM CKUT, where we broadcast every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Once again, je m'appelle Fendi Cristo, and you can catch me and the rest of the RK team next week, same time, same station. As they say, same, but different. Peace out.